Glasses, friends, books. Let's talk about March. G'day to all you lovely people and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy and today I'm going to tell you what I got up to in March. As for the weather, it has been all over the place. It's that in-between weather where you're constantly putting clothes on because you're getting cold and then you're getting too hot and you're taking them off again. Oh, honestly, I just wish it would make up its mind. But I think we have now reached the cooler weather. It's still very pleasant, but it's certainly not warm. In fact, today I'm a little cold, so there you go. So that's been the weather. The plants, however, have really loved it outdoors in particular because it hasn't been overly warm. Everything is doing really well and looking really good, but I suspect that many of my flowers are going to start dying off now. So what have I been up to in March? I've been seeing a lot of friends and family actually, which has been great. I saw my brother and several of my friends. I saw my cousin just yesterday actually. We had lunch together. And so it's been like lots of visits and lots of time spent with people. Because in winter, I am a bear. Yeah, I hibernate. That's what I call it anyway. I don't like going out all that much because it's just far too cold for me. So I'm trying to see as many people as I can before the weather gets really cold. I still haven't been to a nursery and it's something I would like to do, but perhaps now it's too late. I might wait for spring. I don't know yet. So what did I do last month? Glasses, yes. I bought new glasses around 6 months ago and honestly, I've hardly worn them. When I got them, we were still in lockdown and they needed adjusting because they were making my ears really sore. Yeah, the fun of wearing glasses. So I kind of left them for a while. And then when things opened up, I got them adjusted and they were much, much better. At least they weren't hurting my ears, but my eyes just did not like the lenses at all. And again, I ended up not wearing them. I actually had the lenses changed once, but I thought, you know what? I'm not happy with these. My eyes don't like these glasses. I need to replace them. So I decided I will go and get them replaced with the last prescription. And I was quite happy to pay, but they very kindly offered to replace the lenses. So I will be picking them up next week. To be honest, these frames are my favorite. I think in 40 odd years that I've been wearing glasses, these are one of the best. They don't hurt, they're very comfortable, and I like the way I can see things. If you wear glasses, then you know the issues with glasses. Sometimes you have this blurry bit above or to the sides, whereas these seem to cover my eyes just right. And one of the reasons I want to get these glasses right is not just because it's always fun to have something new, but I actually would like to have 2 pairs, which I've never had. I want to replace the lenses in this with lenses that I'm happy with. But I need to make sure that the new ones are comfortable before I give anyone these. So that has taken up a bit of time. I also got sick, yeah, unfortunately. Not COVID, I even had a rapid antigen test, which I've never done before, on my own anyway, and that was negative, but I was sick for about a week, on and off. Unfortunately, I was supposed to go to a picnic and I had to cancel because I wasn't feeling well. Yeah, I think we'd all forgotten what it is like to get just a regular cold or a bug of some kind. We'd been so protected, especially in Australia, because we were in lockdown for so long that I've forgotten I can still get a cold. I've actually even been considering getting the flu shot, which I've never gotten up to now. I haven't really felt I've needed it, but I am getting older. Colds take it out of me, so I thought perhaps it's not a bad idea. Well, I'm fully vaccinated with Pfizer, so why not have the flu shot as well, right? So that might be something I'll be doing shortly. And whilst it's always sad to see the end of the warm weather, knowing it's going to get quite cold. On the other hand, I actually do like the winter as well. Especially now I have a new aircon, which will hopefully warm up this room much, much better than the last one. And I don't know about you, but I love my bed. Yeah, I really do love sleeping. I have really good under mattress and a really good doona. And I just love slipping into bed when it's so toasty and warm. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's funny, right? You look forward to the most everyday things, but it is something that you use all the time. You use every day. So I guess it's natural. Other things I've been doing? Well, I've noticed I'm getting less reluctant to go to my local shopping centre, where prior to COVID, I would go every week, wander around a little, have a coffee, and then come home. When we got out of lockdown recently, I noticed I was just going in and leaving straight away. But now it seems like I've gotten into my old habits. Even though COVID is still around, I think I've kind of reached the point where it's just the new norm, right? I don't look at the numbers every day. I'm still keeping up with the news. I'm just not reading as much at the moment. Yeah, sometimes, I don't know, perhaps it happens to others. You reach a point where you just think, I'm just so fed up with all the bad news that I need a break from it. So I guess, yeah, I needed a break this last month. What else have I been doing? Well, no surprise, I think, to anyone that I'm still addicted to this word puzzle game, and I even got a friend of mine to sign up as well. And actually, she introduced me to Wordle. I'd never heard of Wordle. I'm really not one to spend a lot of time on social media, so I often miss what is trending, which I don't mind at all. But I actually really like Wordle. I try to play it every day, and then my friend and I just text each other the results. And I should say hi to Janelle. And thank you for getting me addicted to yet another word game, but you know, why not? At least it keeps my brain working. And honestly, anything that keeps your brain working is a positive for me. That's what I think anyway. Let me know what games you are addicted to. I never used to play anything on my phone. But these are easy, these are quick. And I really do like playing them when I'm waiting for things, whether it's people or deliveries. Speaking of deliveries, will it shock anyone to learn that I ordered more books? Yeah, because I just can't help myself. Wow, yeah, seriously, I can't stop buying books. In fact, I even bought one yesterday, which I'll show you in a minute. But wow, yeah, I decided I wanted all the Agatha Christie's after all. And I've been buying them in dribs and drabs. I buy a few here, then the next order I buy a few more. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to get them all, so why not just get the rest in one go? So that's what I did. And they have been taking a little bit of time to get here because they're not all in stock. But wow, yeah, I spent $350 on books in one go. I usually don't like to spend that much, but why not? Yeah, seriously, why not? I'm going to read them. I'm going to love them. That's all that matters. I'm not buying plants, so why not get some more books? I feel though like I'm kind of reaching a plateau with the books as well. If I read all the ones that I've already bought, then I don't feel so guilty if I go out and buy more. But even though I am working through them, I certainly haven't read them all yet. So I'm going to try to be a bit more restrained with books. I don't know why I feel guilty about buying books. I guess it's because I have been buying so many lately. It's not because it's causing me any financial difficulties. I just feel like I've gone a bit overboard. I don't even know how many I bought recently. I am going to have to do another book haul because I keep buying all these books. But I wanted to show you this one. This is actually 1984 by George Orwell. I recently got, I think it was a cloth-bound one. I just don't like the look of it. But this is just adorable. It is just too cute. It's part of a series of books. I have a couple more. I have Madame Bovary, which I haven't read yet, and A Christmas Carol, both of which I don't own. But when I saw this, it was just so adorable. I thought, I prefer this one to the other one. And it was probably half the price. But it's so cute, isn't it? I am looking to read this soon. I'm not sure when, but very, very soon. Okay, since we're talking books, let's talk about the books I've read this month. I've read a lot. Yeah, I didn't even realize how many I read. I read Catherine Kerr's Dagger Spell, the first book in her DeVere cycle, DeVere series. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I don't care. That's how I've always pronounced it. It is very traditional fantasy in many ways. And it is about reincarnation, which is really fascinating, actually. And I loved this book when I read it many, many, many years ago. And I've read it more than once. I found it dragged a little for me this time. I didn't enjoy it as much. I liked many aspects of it, but I felt that I needed more. So perhaps when I get to the second book, I'll enjoy it a lot more. I then read 2 Terry Pratchett books. I read Guards, and Eric. Eric is actually very short. I think it's only 100 odd pages. I didn't like Eric as much, though it was still very funny, and it has the character Rincewind, who is hilarious at times. But Guards I really enjoyed. A lot of people have said to me that Guards is really where the series takes off. See, I think that several of the earlier books I read are just as good. But Guards, oh yeah, it was very funny actually. One character in particular just killed me. Carrot. If you've read it, then you know who Carrot is. He just cracked me up, especially when he was trying to write a citation to the dragon. Wow, that was just so funny. It tickled my funny bones so much. There was a lot of humour in this one, just as there is in the others. But I really like these characters because we spent quite a bit of time with them. So we got to understand them. I can't remember the name of the head of the Night Watch. He was a very, very cool character. I'm looking forward actually to reading more about the Night Watch because I think it's a whole series of books in the Discworld universe. And after that, I was in the mood for Hercule Poirot. So I read 9. Actually, no, I read 7. I read 2 other Agatha Christie books, stand-alone books, actually. Endless Night and what was the other one? The Crooked House, that's right. Endless Night, that was a really interesting one, actually. And the Poirot ones, I always loved the Poirot ones. I read Evil Under the Sun and Death on the Nile, actually. I have read them many, many years ago, but it is hard for me to reread something that I remember so well as I remember Death on the Nile. But I really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, given that I know this story so well. Yeah, I find her books really easy to read. I usually get through them within a day or 2 days at most, which is why I get through so many. The other thing I read was The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I had seen the film many years ago. I think it stars Viggo Mortensen, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. And I had heard very good things about this author, so I wanted to give him a try. It is so bleak though. Wow, yeah. I always thought Lord of the Flies was really bleak by William Golding. I read that in high school. But this one, oh wow. Yeah, his vision of humanity is really dark, really bleak. And I did enjoy it, but I had a few questions as to how the world got to where it was, and that's never explained. It's more about the journey, I guess. I should tell you what it's about. It is about a father and son who are going on a very difficult journey to the south where it is warmer as food is scarce It's very dangerous. There are roaming bands who kill people, and they're constantly starving and looking for food and just trying to survive. I'm glad I read it. It wasn't a very long book. I think it's only 100 odd pages as well. But that was enjoyable. I always like reading dystopian. And then I read Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I have never read Virginia Woolf before. Orlando is about a young nobleman in, I think, the 15th or 16th century when Elizabeth I was around, who is an aspiring poet, writer. The book is meant to be a loosely based biography of Woolf's lover, a woman called Sackville Wit, I think it is. I can never remember her name. And this character, Orlando, turns into a woman. The book is meant to be whimsical. It's not meant to be taken literally. Who actually lives through several centuries. We also see him under Queen Victoria's rule, as well as in the 1920s. And there is a lot of discussion about what it means to be a woman, how society can shape what is a woman, what is a man, what kind of behavior is expected of a woman, and what kind of behavior is expected of a man. My understanding is that it is a very influential book. But I didn't love it, I will confess. I found it dragged. There really isn't a major plot. I loved, however, some of the writing. There are some wonderful passages in this book when she talks about the process of writing. I just thought that was spot on, actually. If you've ever written, you would recognize it immediately. She makes a lot of very smart and very witty, actually, observations about writing, critiquing art, gender. But I found the book sometimes just meandered so much that I would lose interest. I'm glad I read it, but it was certainly not a favourite book of mine. Though I'm sure some people will love it. And given that this was written in the 1920s, it was so forward-thinking. I can understand why it was and is so influential. It just wasn't to my taste. I do want to read another Virginia Woolf because my understanding is Orlando is quite different in style to her other books. I'm just not sure when. I also read Empire of the Vampire by J. Christoph. I had bought it because I wanted to try this author, and it was a very reasonably priced hardcover. One of my subscribers, Jacqueline, hi Jacqueline, she actually decided to read it before me, and I thought this could be fun to do a buddy read as such. So we ended up reading it together and then discussing the book. It was obviously about vampires and half vampires, and it is the story about a silver saint, a half-blood vampire who fights vampires actually and kills them. I'm not going to go into any more detail because I've actually done a review on the book, though that won't come out for a little while yet. I enjoyed it though, overall. And then I read this, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This was so charming. It's a murder mystery. It is about a group of elderly people in a retirement village, I think a swanky retirement village, who like to discuss old murders when an actual murder takes place in their vicinity. The observations about the elderly are just so funny. It is a very sympathetic book too. He treats them with respect, which I really appreciated. The characters are just too sweet for words, and I really enjoyed seeing their perspectives on different things. Some of the observations they make are just too funny. I think one of the characters says, oh, this other woman in the retirement village has decided to diet. She's like, why? You don't have that long to live. Why the hell are you putting yourself through a diet? And there's a lot of very droll comments like that throughout the book. And the murder mystery was good, I thought. I'm not going to say it was the best I've ever read or that convoluted or complicated, but it was enjoyable. Perhaps it was not as unpredictable as some murder mysteries are, but that doesn't matter. It was the characters I loved so much. And I actually loved this so much that I immediately started The Man Who Died Twice, I think it is called, the sequel to this, with the same octogenarians, which are just so much fun. Highly recommend them for a light, quick, and very enjoyable read. I thought so anyway. And the last book I read is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. My brother has been trying to get me to read this for years. I always thought it was more science fiction, but it actually isn't. It is a dystopian futuristic book which is set on Mars, but it is not so much science fiction as it is about the dystopian society that we're reading about. And my subscriber Jacqueline and I also read this together and we both loved it. I loved it so much that I ended up buying the entire series by Pierce Brown. I haven't read the second one because I wanted a bit of space in between the first and the second so I could appreciate it more. But that is definitely on the list this month. I've also done a review of Red Rising. Again, that's not going to come out just yet, but I just loved it. I really did. It is one of the better books I have read in quite a long time. And I'm really loving doing these kind of buddy reads. I think that's what people call them in the book community. And I'm thinking I might do some more of those in the future. So altogether, I read, 17 and a half books. I didn't get to finish The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman until yesterday, which was April, so I'm not including that. When I got sick, I didn't want to read as much, so I took a little bit of a break. Not that much of a break, but some anyway, and I decided to watch some television. I've been wanting to watch the Witcher series, but I can't just sit and watch something. I have to be knitting as well. And when it is cold is always when I want to knit. So I thought, fine, it's time to bring out my knitting. And I did. I watched the entire Witcher series. Okay. Can I say up front that Henry Cavill as Geralt, or Geralt as they call him on the show, is gorgeous. Yeah, I would watch it just for him. And he was excellent as Geralt in the show. But the show itself is almost unrecognizable from the books. They've changed so much in the show that I almost felt like I was watching something entirely different. I know I'm a purist. I just feel if you are going to base a show or movie on books, don't change it unless you have to. I really don't think that they can do it better than the author. It was disappointing to see some of the changes they made. For example, several of the major characters are unrecognizable in the show. They are nothing like that in the books. And I'm getting really tired of anyone using a visual medium feeling that big bang special effects or monsters is more important than the story. It kind of felt like that. They wanted to make a big impact rather than ensuring that there was some cohesion to the story itself. If they had done a spin-off of the Witcher books, I would be a lot more forgiving. But when you're basing a film or show on the actual books themselves, then try to be truer to it. Geralt's character is probably the closest to the books, and I really liked that. But yeah, so many changes that I just couldn't understand why they bothered. Not that I didn't enjoy the show. I think if I'd never read the books, I would have enjoyed the show very much, though I still would have had a few criticisms. And since I was still in the mood to knit, I thought, fine, time to watch Supernatural. Yeah, I love Supernatural, and I'll confess, more eye candy, I can't deny it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is gorgeous, But I have been wanting to finish Supernatural for years. It is one of my favourite shows. I own all of them on Blu-ray, and I've seen all but I think the last 2 or 3 seasons. When I heard they were finishing off the series, I thought, I'm not going to watch the next one. I'll wait until it's done, and then I'll have to rewatch the whole thing from the beginning. And even though the first season isn't my favourite, it's more Monster of the Week. There is this amazing overall story arc and great mythology to this show, and I'm looking forward to getting to that. At the moment, I'm at the beginning of season 2. But yeah, I have 15 seasons to go, so it's going to take me a while. I will break it up with other things, I'm sure, because 15 seasons is a lot of episodes, and this is a show that has 20 to 23 episodes per season. I kind of prefer the much shorter seasons that we seem to see a lot of today. And I'm kind of curious actually to rewatch the whole thing, see if I love it just as much as I did the first 2 times that I saw it. And as for what I'm knitting, that's this. It's two-toned and it's ribbed, which is why it looks so small. It will stretch a lot once you wear it actually. I have a lot of wool actually. Yeah, I have several tubs full of wool of different sizes and different colors. Every time I like a color, I'll buy it. So then when I'm in the mood to knit something, I just can grab anything I like. I've been trying to find a balance. I am one of these obsessive people who, when they do something, that's all they do. And all I've been doing lately is reading. So I'm trying to train myself into splitting my evenings into 2. Some of it reading and some of it watching and knitting. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Probably not very well. I've been trying for 57 years. Yeah, I don't think I will succeed, but hey, you can only try, right? So now let's talk about my plants. My garden is doing great actually at the moment, but that's going to change very, very soon. Yeah, the colder it gets, everything starts dying off. Normally I buy some flowering plants for winter. I'm just not sure if I want to this year because they do require some work and I'm just not in the mood at the moment. But some of the plants that won't survive the winter outdoors, like my coleuses, I've already prepared small pots that I can bring inside so that I can keep them alive during the cold weather and then put them back out in spring. I might also bring in my snake plants. I have 3 currently living outdoors because they just grow so well outdoors. Actually, I was thinking about my bulbs, my spring bulbs. I took them all out of the pots that they've been in for the last 2 years and kept them in paper bags in a cool and dry place. And in Australia, I don't think we get cold enough for putting them straight into the ground, so I have to put them in the fridge for 6 weeks. Part of me doesn't want to bother, but I don't want to lose them, so I will be putting them in the fridge and then planting them actually in the garden. I just don't want to have them in pots anymore. Whatever survives, survives. I guess you guys will find out in spring if they come up or not. My indoor plants, yeah, I lost another peperomia, what a surprise. It is the Peperomia trinervus. This one seems to like a lot of humidity. I wasn't too stressed about it because I had taken several stem cuttings which are living in my propagation box and are doing very well. But yeah, that one just decided no, doesn't want to live anymore, so that's fine. And also my Calathea bicajou. It has been curling its leaves. I've checked it for pests several times. I can't find anything. So I'm not sure what the issue is, whether I let it dry out too much or what's going on. She's lost all her large leaves and she's looking a little sad. So I moved her. I put her in my north-facing window in my spare room on the floor to see if that would help. I have found with prayer plants that even though they're meant to be low to medium light, they actually do like brighter light. So we'll see if that will help. Hopefully it does. She looks a little sad at the moment. I guess she's still alive, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with her. I know she likes higher humidity, so I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet this year and get some grow lights. Yeah, always issues, right? Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like if it's not one thing, it's something else. But in all seriousness, March hasn't been too bad for my plants. I know I normally show you plants that are doing well, but I've decided instead I'm going to show you the other plants I bought when I got my Kentia palm. I bought 3 other plants. The first is the Peperomia peppermill. Are you shocked that I'm not doing well with this plant? Because I'm not. Yeah, this one, I don't know what its issue is. It's not doing the best. It's not doing the worst, but it's certainly not a very happy plant. I only moved it yesterday, actually. I put it in my north-facing window. I guess we will see if it will like brighter light. I don't think so, though. This one hasn't proved all that easy. The next one I'm going to show you is my Aglaonema. I can't remember the name of it, so I'll put it on the screen. I think it's Pink Lady or something like that, and it is very, very pink. I actually like the colour because it is nice and bright, though I'm not a fan of pink, but in nature I can put up with it. I decided, you know what, I'm going to give an Aglaonema one last try. If this one doesn't survive, then it will probably be the last Aglaonema I buy, because they have proved very, very difficult. But she's really cute and she's actually doing really well. And she sits nearly 4 meters back from my west-facing window. She doesn't seem to mind it. I guess we will see how she does in winter. The next one I want to show you is my ZZ plant, Zamioculcas zamiifolia. Yeah, my first ZZ died. After I had knocked it down and broken several of the stems, it never recovered. In 2 years, it did nothing. So I think in spring, I put it outside and it died. So I thought, fine, I'll get a new one. And it's just gorgeous. I really love this plant. I love the shape of the leaves. I love the structure of it. And I've been really missing mine because mine did very, very well until I knocked it down. I know she's not to everyone's taste, but I am definitely a fan of ZZ plants. And last, I have to show you this plant because I know I have talked about my philodendron micans quite a bit. My original one, I think, is dead, and then I bought a replacement one. I fiddled with the roots and it started killing off all its leaves, and I thought, oh no, I've killed this one too. So I bought a third micans, and that one did very well because I left it alone. But the micans where I messed up with the roots, that one has bounced back. I was sure it was going to die, but no, it has taken off. But as I had 2 pots of micans, I thought, no, I'm going to combine them all together. And look at her, she looks gorgeous. I'm fairly certain I lost my original micans, but the other 2 are just taking off. I actually put it in my north-facing window, and normally I have a curtain there, but I thought I would try something different, and I moved the curtain away from the window for the last 4 months, and the plants have been loving it and growing really well. And the micans, she's almost as big as my original one was before we dropped her. But I'm so happy to have her back and looking gorgeous. I think so anyway. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. And I know I ramble way too much. But now I want to hear what you guys got up to in March. I know it is spring for all of you who live in the Northern Hemisphere. And I'm sure that you're looking forward to the warmer weather, just like I'm not looking forward to the colder weather. And you can let me know down in the comments, or you can contact me on Instagram. Thank you all so very much for watching. I do appreciate all of you. And if you like this video, then you can do the usual. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.